By now you should be familiar with the most common parts of speech in English, nouns, adjectives, and verbs. But let's review these quickly before we spend more time on the other parts of speech. Remember, parts of speech are important because they show us how words relate to one another. This helps us to better understand a sentence. The first part of speech I want to review are nouns. So nouns, remember, are words for people, places, things, or ideas. So some examples of this would be girl, city, toy, happiness, success, love. And with nouns, you can also have proper nouns, which are a specific name for a person, place, or thing. So an example of this would be like Summit Academy OIC. That is the name of our school. Minneapolis is the name of our city, and English is the name of the language. All proper nouns are always going to have the first letter will always be capitalized. And you can see this in my example down below. Adjectives are words that describe nouns. So, for example, shiny, fast, sad, soft, incredible. And adjectives go before the noun in English. So in some languages, the adjective goes after the noun, but it's important to remember that adjectives go before the noun in English. So an example of this would be, my annoying sister always follows me. Annoying is the adjective, and sister is the noun. Annoying is describing. Verbs are action words, and they are things that you do. Verbs can change depending on who is doing the action and when that action is done. So examples of this would be sleep, eat, find, improve, gain. And when I talk about the verbs changing, sleep, if it is in the past tense, is going to be changed to slept, or eat changes to ate. If it's he eats, we would add an S to it. So again, verbs can change. They're going to change depending on when the action's done and who is doing that action. Adverbs are maybe a little bit newer to you, or maybe you don't review them as often or know them as well as you do the nouns, verbs, and adjectives. But adverbs, just like it says add and then verbs, describe a verb, and they usually end in ly, but not always. So some examples of this is slowly, loudly, accidentally, cautiously, fast, and far. In my example, he coughed loudly. Here, loudly is describing this verb of coughed, right? He coughed. How did he cough? He coughed loudly. You can kind of see my picture here. He coughed loudly. And another important thing to remember in English is that English uses a subject, verb, object order when we're writing sentences. And this is going to help you kind of keep everything in your sentence kind of organized. So a subject, when we talk about a subject, that's going to be the thing that's doing the action. It's usually a noun, but it doesn't always have to be. And then the object is going to be the thing that the action is being done to. So my example of this is Tia ate cake on her birthday. So the subject is Tia. Tia is the one doing the action, right? Tia is eating, or Tia ate the cake. So what is being eaten? The cake is. So our subject is Tia, verb is ate, and our object is cake. So knowing this again will help you to put the parts of speech in order. It'll help you create sentences, grammatically correct sentences in English. So I have two different little paragraphs here, and I want you to think about which one sounds better and why. So the first sentence, or first paragraph, Ahmed forgot Ahmed's umbrella in the classroom yesterday. The teacher found the umbrella when the teacher was leaving the classroom. The teacher called Ahmed to tell Ahmed that Ahmed forgot Ahmed's umbrella. Or, Ahmed forgot his umbrella in the classroom yesterday. The teacher found it when she was leaving the classroom. She called Ahmed to tell him that he forgot his umbrella. Which sounds better and why? So the second paragraph sounds a little bit better, right? It flows better. Our first paragraph, we tend to see the same words over and over again, right? Ahmed forgot Ahmed's umbrella in the classroom yesterday. The teacher found the umbrella when the teacher was leaving the classroom. So we're repeating a lot of those same words that we've already said earlier in the sentence. So it tends to be have a lot of words. It doesn't flow as nicely as the second paragraph does, where we are using more of these smaller words, right? Ahmed forgot his umbrella in the classroom. The teacher found it when she was leaving the classroom. She called Ahmed to tell him that he forgot his umbrella. So we're going to look a little bit more closely at these smaller words, which are called pronouns, and how we can use them and how they change depending on where they are in the sentence. So again, these little words are pronouns. There are a lot of them, and they're good to know. They're good to have memorized. And there are 5 different types of them. So we've got subject pronouns, so things like I, you, he, she, it, we, you, and they. Object pronouns, me, you, him, her. Possessive pronouns, my, your, his. Possessive adjectives, my, your, his, her, its, our, your, and their. Possessive pronouns, mine, yours, his, hers. Or reflexive pronouns, myself, yourself, himself. And we will look at these different ones more in depth in just a couple of seconds. But again, the when you use these is going to depend on the situation and the place in the sentence. So this is important to remember. So the first one, the subject pronouns, also sometimes called personal pronouns, are probably ones you've heard a lot and you've used a lot in English. These are the ones that take place of the subject. Again, the noun that is doing this, the action, is the subject. And those subject pronouns are I, you, he, she, it, we, and they. So again, they study English at Summit. Where object pronouns are what's going to take place of the object. So again, the thing that the action is being done to. And these object pronouns are me, you, him, her, it, us, them. Example of this, I met him at school. So I would be the subject pronoun. Met is our verb, and him is our object pronoun. It would be incorrect to say, I met he at school. Again, this he is a subject pronoun, so it would not be placed here in the sentence. We would want it placed up here if we were going to use he. And in this case, we would want him instead of he. Possessive adjectives talk about who or what owns something. So again, this is probably something that you've learned in English class before. And these possessive adjectives are my, your, his, her, its, our, and their. Your teacher seems very nice. I like to ride my bicycle. Incorrect versions of these sentences, you teacher seems very nice. I like to ride me bicycle. Would be incorrect because this is because of how they are being used in the sentence. And if you remember, adjectives are something that describe a noun. And so a possessive adjective, the my or the your or he, his, her, its is describing this noun here, right? So it's my bicycle. Not just a bicycle, it's my bicycle. If that helps you to remember it that way. The next one is a possessive pronoun, and these are similar to our possessive adjectives, but they take place of those possessive adjectives. So it shows ownership over something that was already mentioned. And these are mine, yours, his, hers, ours, and theirs. So my example would be, this isn't my umbrella. Is it yours? No, it isn't mine. So in this example, we've already said umbrella, right? So instead of saying, this isn't my umbrella, is it your umbrella? you could say, is it yours? And no, it is not my umbrella. No, it isn't mine, would replace the my umbrella. It's not incorrect to say, no, it isn't my umbrella, but it is shorter and a little bit, again, it just gives a little bit more fluency to say, to replace my umbrella with mine, especially if we've already established what the thing is that we're talking about. The last one is a reflexive pronoun, and reflexive pronouns are when the subject and the object are the same. And those are myself, yourself, himself, herself, itself, ourselves, themselves. So an example of this, I stopped myself from eating another cookie. So again, I'm doing something to myself, right? To me. So I stopped myself from eating another cookie. And if you look at this picture, maybe this next sentence will help with this picture. She looked at herself in the mirror. So she's doing something to herself. She looked at herself in the mirror.